you're a Muslim, right? You identify as a Muslim, but you're
Correct.
not Sharia, correct?
See, that's another term. Like that term right there shows me that their propaganda rotted your brain, bro. If a Catholic is following the rules of Catholicism, first of all, Sharia is not black and white. That's number one. Number two, any politician that's calling for the banning of Sharia.
See, this is where it gets muddy because all right,
yeah.
Go ahead.
That's what they want, because in that confusion they can slip in their
But
policies.
if you're pushing your beliefs and and the way you govern your people on other people and other citizens, like what's happening in Plano, Texas, and
what's happening in Plano, Nino,
coincide with the Constitution.
Nino,
do you believe Sharia law and the Constitution can coexist?
Yes, because Sharia law says you have to obey the laws of the land you live in. So let me answer your
question. Your laws.
Let me finish.
Right.
The question is, do you actually believe in the Constitution? Is a better question.
I believe everyone has the rights, but they cannot impose their beliefs, their rights on me.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Do you have a problem if Jewish people sell kosher food?
Not at all.
Okay, so then why is it a problem if a Muslim sells halal food?
Because a Muslim wants you to sell their food. They go into their communities and make you in the stores and have you sell what they want you to sell. They don't want you to
Where are they doing that?
Plano, Texas.
Nino, I live in the Plano area. I made a film.
Is that where you moved? Is that where you moved?
I'm not too far. I'm about an hour drive. But I made a film. Called The Muslim
But you're telling
Invasion.
me that the Constitution and the Sharia law can coexist. So
Let me
my
ask you a
audience is not going to agree with that.
If the Prophet commanded us, the Prophet Muhammad commanded Muslims, when you live in a foreign land, you must obey the rules and the laws of that land. That's Sharia law.
Don't you also want to outbreed and take the women into your own and all this stuff? And
no, what I would say is, why are the Christians in Western Europe and America not getting married and having kids? You guys should look in the mirror, Nino. You should look in the mirror. Now, what you're complaining about in the UK, yeah. So to me, it's most of Muslims I know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some of the people from Afghanistan and Iraq or whatever might have more than 5 kids. I don't know. But to me, most of Muslims I know have 2 or 3 kids. Normal amount of kids here in New York, Texas that I've met. So to me, it's first of all, no one's stopping you guys from getting married. We don't have the divorce problem as bad as Christians do right now in Western nations.
Well, a lot of all right.
But I need to finish the question. Sharia law. Sharia law. Sharia law, you're commanded by the Prophet Muhammad to obey the rules and regulations of where you live. That's number one. All Sharia means is acceptable by God. So Sharia law is
the way they treat women and homosexuals.
How do they treat? Why? Let me ask you a question. What does it say in your book about homosexuality?
Well, I believe it's wrong. It's wrong.
But what's it called in the Bible? An abomination is called.
Correct. But I mean,
what?
There's also a way that you all treat them and women if they're openly acting this way.
Openly is the key. Openly.
Okay. So
because what happens when you make you make lewdness acceptable. Now, what was this classified not even 100 years ago? It was classified as a mental.
I'm not saying I agree with it, but it is America. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. That's,
I get it. But
that's the
America,
line with the Constitution and Sharia law right there. That's why I'm bringing that out for an example. That's why I'm using that as an example.
But America 100 years ago, not even 20 years ago, a man couldn't marry a man. Did you agree with that?
I'm with you on that. But where we're at now, people have rights.
So very simple. So what does Islam teach us? If we start to see that we live in a society where it's become, you can't practice your faith, so you don't have the right.
We got to be careful with this, by the way, because it is fluff tube. You know what I mean? Like, let's be a little more vague on.
So what I'm saying is the Muslim perspective is, if you can't adhere to your faith where you live, you're commanded to leave. So basically, if American society degenerates that bad, kind of like why I'm leaving New York City. I want to be down in Texas. They're more spiritual. I'm happy that they go to church. I'm happy that they try to follow some form of Christianity down there, way more than I've ever seen up here. And I love living amongst them because I'd rather live with a Christian than live with a million people that don't have any faith at all, right? So in Islam, you're commanded. If you can't keep your faith, leave. So basically, Sharia means the laws are the laws. You're allowed to live in non-Muslim countries. But if you can't keep your faith, then you're commanded to leave those regions. You're not allowed to start riots. You're not allowed to start wars. You're not allowed to go there as a conqueror.
What happens if, and I keep using this as an example. I don't know why, but I'm just going to use it for a gay couple wants to move into the community, at the Muslim community in Plano. Well, how would they react to that? If they decide we're going to move next door to these people, you guys won't even let them in there. right? I
So,
mean, but I get it,
so,
but I mean, right?
but
Am I right about
let's be real here. No one can stop anybody in America because you have laws. Okay, you have developments and stuff. So I don't know if they followed or didn't follow. To me, I went to some of those communities. There was some non-Muslims living amongst them in those and very nice neighborhoods, by the way, bro. Beautiful. Like, go watch the film, dude. You should go see the film I made. I spent a lot of money and time making it. And I cornered Jake Lang in a protest. I got him on record. Let me ask you a question. Let's take Muslims out of it for
how
1
would
second.
they would react? How will the Muslims react if they decide to go build a Christian church in that community right there, smack dab in the middle?
But you have churches right across the street, bro. Literally.
That's not how it is in Plano.
Have you been there? Yes, it is. Nino, I don't know what Plano you went to.
Okay.
I don't know what Plano. Have you been there on the ground?
I've had Lieutenant Deagle on talking about this. He's been investigating.
Good. I would love to debate him any time of the week, anywhere he wants.
He has the proof, bro. He can read the receipts.
I'll debate him on a water burger.
All right.
Let's look at it from a peripheral.
I will bring him on. I will absolutely.
Let me look at it on a peripheral. If you went to a place, you're going to tell me that there's not ethnic enclaves in America? You're going to tell me there's not all black neighborhoods, all Chinese neighborhoods. You're going to tell me that doesn't exist? Because I've been all over this country multiple times in the last year alone, let alone my whole life. If I go 10 miles down this way in New Jersey, is Fort Lee, New Jersey.
I get what you're saying, but the Muslims are a lot different.
80% Korean, bro. 80% Korean. Good luck buying a house from that Korean house owner. Because guess what he's going to do? When he moves out, he's going to make sure he sells it to a Korean. Do I agree with it?
I see how you're playing.
But it's not playing it. Everyone else seems to do these types of things, but God forbid Pakistanis have their own enclave, right? Because it's mostly Pakistanis there. It's not even all Muslims, right? Even me, myself, I wouldn't want to go as an Albanian Muslim and live in a 90% Pakistani neighborhood.
I'm going to bring Lieutenant Deagle on and talk about this.
Answer this question to me, Nino Rodriguez.
Government.
Nino Rodriguez, are there not ethnic enclaves throughout this entire
nation?
Yes,
but they don't threaten me. And
who's threatening you, bro? But who's threatening you?
If you go to these communities, that you either abide by the Muslim tradition or you don't, or they kick you out, they'll fight you tooth and nail about it. They impose onto other people, and I know my audience will agree with that.
Who imposing how? Give me an example.
It's everyone knows what I'm talking about right now. Even you do. They can it?
Let me ask you a question. You had a Christian man. I forgot the story. Who owned a bakery, and the guy wanted him to make him a cake for gay marriage. Do you remember this story a while back? And he got in trouble and blah blah blah.
He said no, right? He said
no, and it became a problem, civil rights issue, right? So my question to you is that man not imposing his faith when he said no to that customer? Yes or no?
No, you're right. He's right about that. Right.
Who's magnifying these types of stories? Who? I'm asking you, who controls the media?
Okay, so if
is it the chosen people that control the media? Yes or no?
If a woman is walking down the sidewalk in a Muslim community, not wearing her, what is it, the hijab, what's it called, the headdress, whatever the hell it is, and a Sharia man decides to come up to her and reprimand her, does he have the right to do that?
No.
He doesn't have the right to do that.
No, not in America. No, he doesn't have a right to do that.
That's what That's okay. So a lot of people would disagree.
And that is Sharia. You know why that's Sharia? Because that's the land. That's the law of the land. If you don't like the law of the land, leave the country. That's Sharia.
You're saying that they have to abide by the Constitution or leave.
Absolutely.
Okay,
and the Bill of Rights, and local and state laws, and mayor laws. Like so.
Okay, well then you need to be the spokesman for all the Muslims, bro.
Well, maybe when I get to own CNN, Fox News, when I get to own Facebook and social media, and then maybe push back against these algorithms, maybe we can have a voice.
Because if that's the case, then yeah, bro,
that is the case. Nino, I swear to God, that's the case.
Then you need to be the spokesman for all Muslims, bro.
Okay,
I'm telling you that right now.
Let me ask you
there's a lot of misconstrued.